Forensic Chemistry and Toxicology. Dito, papakilala lang natin kung ano ba yung mga bagay-bagay na dapat nating malaman sa subject na ito. Man in the history of forensic science. Mahalaga ito kasi ang pagbibigay tanaw sa mga magandang contribution nila sa larangan ng forensic chemistry. May dalawang tao na napaka-importanting tao para sa kanilang contribution sa subject na ito. Una ay si Matthew J.B. Orfila, one of the most renowned medical legalists of the time was Matthew Orfila way back 1787 to 1853. So ano nga ba ang higit na mas magpapakilala sa atin kay Mr. Orfila? Orfila is the best known for his involvement in the Lafargue arsenic poisoning case in France. So, nakibahagi siya at malaki ang kanyang participation or involvement sa tinaguriang Lafargue arsenic poisoning. Because of that, he is often referred to as the father of forensic toxicology. So, take note, Matthew Orfila is the father of forensic toxicology. Another important person is Dr. Hans Gross, a magistrate and law professor in Australia. So, taga-Australia naman ito. Known for his publication and for introducing the word criminalistic. Kaya si Dr. Hans Gross ay tinawag nating father of criminalistic. So, huwag kayong malilito. Kanina, father of forensic toxicology, yun ay si Matthew Orfila. And ngayon ay si father of criminalistic is si Dr. Hans Gross. So, in 1893, published a handbook for magistrates that greatly influenced the practice of criminal investigation. Ito naman ang kanyang participation yung publication ng kanyang handbook. So, yun si Dr. Hans Gross. Let's proceed to the introduction of our subject matter, forensic chemistry. Ano nga bang ibig sabihin ng forensic chemistry? That branch of chemistry which deals with the application of chemical principle in the solution of problems that arise in connection with the administration of justice. So kapag nakikita kasi natin itong salitang forensic, always remember po that they have something to do with the administration of justice. So the purpose is in connection with the administration of justice. May kinalaman sa nangyayari sa ating korte. Because forensic chemistry or doctors involved in this science usually appear in court as a witness, not only as an ordinary witness. They stand as an expert witness sa korte, kaya nandito talaga yung administration of justice. Yun yung findings nila. It is chemistry applied in the elucidation of legal problems. It is chemistry used in court of law. Yun ibig sabihin ng administration of justice. Chemistry belongs to the court of law. We are referring to forensic chemistry. Kapag nakita natin yung forensic chemistry, always remember that they has something to do with the administration of justice. So, ito yung mga concern ng forensic chemistry. Physical evidence are articles and materials which are found in connection with an investigation and which aid in establishing the identity of the perpetrator of the circumstances under which the crime was committed or which in general assist in the prosecution of the criminal. So, ano bang may tutulong ng physical evidence? They are help to assist in the prosecution of the criminal. So, yung mga physical evidence, sila talaga yung mga sandalan para makatulong sa pag-prosecute sa criminal. Whether it will become guilty based of the findings of the court of innocence. Physical evidence is what? Hindi lang naman ito ang nag-a-assist sa mga prosecutor to prosecute the criminal. Marami pang mga ebidensya dyan. Isa dito yung sinasabing ebidensya, yung tinatawag na nating physical evidence. Scope of forensic chemistry. Yung una, it includes the chemical side of criminal investigation. Yun yung chemical side ng criminal investigation. Halimbawa, yung ebidensya na nakuha sa crime scene ay blood or droplets of blood. And the issue is to determine the source of that blood, either from the suspect or victim or to the witness. Kailangan makita yung source of blood na yan. Baka naman that droplets of blood is coming from the suspect. So we need the aspect of investigation. So pupunta yan sa forensic chemist para mag-conduct ng study about the sample of blood o kaya semen sa case na rape. Pangalawa, it includes the analysis of any material, the quality of which may give rise to legal proceeding. Analysis of any material, which is yun yung mga metals or metallurgy. Nag-a-apply ito kung yung metallurgy kapag sa disgrasya or hit and run. At saka yung metallurgy, ito yung mga naiwang ebidensya doon. Yung part ng vehicle, yung mga metals, halimbawa, natanggal. So, we have to determine the source of this metal. Kung anong klaseng sasakyan, saan ito nakatouch. Pwede din yung mga basag na glasses, pieces of glass. Pwede kung yung mga naiwang parte ng sasakyan sa ebidensya sa crime scene. Pwede pa rin matrace yan through the forensic chemistry. Pangatlo, it is not limited to purely chemical question involved in legal proceeding. Tama, kasi nag-a-appear din sila sa korte to testify based on their knowledge about the subject. Nag-a-appear din sila bilang expert witness. We are referring to those person involved in forensic chemistry. Dito naman tayo sa rules of forensic chemists in the scientific criminal investigation. Yung mga forensic chemists, sila pala yung mga tao na nagtatrabaho sa laboratory. The forensic chemist plays an important role in the scientific criminal investigation. He may be called upon to aid an investigation in. So, anong kaso ba kinakailangan itong mga forensic chemists? Yung una is determining whether or not a place, location, is a clandestine laboratory. Ito yung mga kaso about illegal drugs. That is a example of duty of forensic chemists to determine whether that particular place or location is a clandestine laboratory. Kapag sinabing clandestine, ito yung laboratory na paggawaan ng drugs. Next, examination of marked bills, suspect during entrapment or extortion case. Dito naman yung mga chemical powder na nilalagay sa mga marked bills. Yung pangatlo, yung taking paraffin test. Ginagamit naman ito para malaman natin kung yung tao ay nagpaputok ng baril sa pamamagitan ng pagdetermine ng gunpowder sa kamay ng suspect. Fourth stage of work of a forensic chemist. Yung una is collection and reception of specimen for laboratory examination. Yung ibang chemist kasi, sila mismo yung nagko-collect sa crime scene. Or yung iba naman is nare-receive na lang nila sa laboratory. Tapos dapat sufficiency of sample. Dapat marami yung sample or sapat para sa comparison na gagawin nila. Standard for comparison. Dapat meron din silang standard na pagbabasihan for comparing. Maintenance of individuality. That is another important of chemists to remember. And then labeling and scaling. Yung pangalawa naman, the actual examination of specimen. Yung pangatlo, communication of the result of examine. And then yung last is court appearance.
Forensic toxicology. Toxicology is the branch of science that treats of poison, their origin, physical and chemical properties, physiological action, and treatment of their noxious effect, and methods of detection. The etymology of toxicology came from toxico, that means poison, and ology, that means study or science. Sinasabi dito na ang toxicology daw ay isang sangay na tinatrato ang lason, ang kanilang pinagmulan, physical at chemical na mga katangian ng physiological na pagkilos at paggamot ng kanilang nakakalason na epekto, at mga pamamaraan ng pagtuklas. Ang etymolohiya ng toxicology ay nagmula sa toxico, nangangahulugang lason, at ology na nangangahulugang pag-aaral o hagham. Dumako naman tayo sa dalawang uri ng lason. Poison, from the medical point of view, is a substance that when introduced into body and is absorbed through the bloodstream and acting chemically is capable for producing noxious effect. Physiology, a branch of science that treats of the form and quantity of medicine to be administered within a certain period. Sinasabi dito, ang poison o lason mula sa medical na pananaw ay isang sangkap na kapag ipinasok sa katawan at iniigop sa daloy ng dugo at kumikilos na chemical ay may kakayaang magdulot ng nakakapinsalang epekto. Ang physiology naman ay isang sangay na agam na tumatalakay sa anyo at dami ng gamot na ibinibigay sa loob ng isang tiyak na panahon. From a medical point of view, acute poisoning o talamak na paglason, agarang pagkilos. Subacute poisoning, mga kaso na maikli at tagal at matinding karasan. Chronic poisoning, talamak na paglason, unti-unting pagkasira ng pagandar ng mga tissue. Accidental poisoning, hindi sadyang pagkalason. Suicidal poisoning, pagpapakamatay ng pagkalason. Homicidal poisoning, hindi tiyak mula sa medical na pananaw. Mako naman tayo sa action of poison. Local, changes produced on the part with which the poison come in contact. Remote, changes produced in distant parts away from the site of application. Combined, the effect of poison is not only localized at the site but also affect remote organs. Sinasabi dito, ang lokal, mga pagbabagong ginawa sa bahagi kung saan ang lason ay dumarating. Ang remote naman, mga pagbabagong ginagawa sa malalayong bahagi na malayo sa lugar ng aplikasyon. Combined, pinagsama-sama ang epekto ng lason ay hindi lamang na isa lokal na site ngunit nakaka-epekto rin sa malalayong organo. Investigation of fatal cases. Investigation of fatal cases is not necessary that an investigator should be an expert on the poisons. Since a medical legal officer and a toxicologist will assist him in his investigation, but it is important and will be a great help to him if he knows the following. Number 1, symptoms of various kind of poisoning. Number 2, the lethal dose of poisoning. Number 3, the length of time that may elapse after the poison has been taken, where the poison was obtained, the chemical formula of the poison, other names, and it known in the market. Sinasabi dito, sa pagsisiyasat ng mga nakakamatay na kaso, hindi kinakailangan ang isang investigador ay dapat maging eksperto sa mga lason. Dahil ang isang medical legal na opisyal at isang toxicologist ay tutulong sa kanyang pagsisiyasat, ngunit ito ay mahalaga at maging isang malaking tulong sa kanya kung alam niya ang mga sumusunod. Number 1, mga sintomas ng iba't ibang uri ng pagkalason. Number 2, ang nakakamatay na dosis ng pagkalason. Number 3, ang haba ng oras na maaring lumipas pagkatapos mainom ang lason. Number 4, kung saan nakuha ang lason. Number 5, ang chemical na formula ng lason. Number 6, iba pang mga pangalan na ito ay kilala sa merkado. Number 7, mga gamit na lason.